Spitfire release tool. When we get them out of the box, the first thing that you'll need to do is come down to the bottom. There will be a metal retaining ring. You need to take it out and put in this peak plastic insulator. This is the model number if you need to look it up. There's these retaining rings that hold them in. Make sure you take the retaining ring out. Take this, there'll be a metal insulator, take that out, put this one in. The reason for that is the geo top pin is too big and will cause your tool to short out. To open up the tool, you won't want to put wrenches anywhere on the tool. What you use is a span wrench. Go ahead, and this is how you disassemble the tool. On these tools, you will not be taking anything apart other than this section right here. These are your wires that you'll be connecting through, and your insulator protector tube for your wires to make sure you're not pinching anything as you're putting the tool together. So let's go ahead and take this apart.
The retaining nut in there, right?
Inside here is where you'll have your retaining nut. So how this goes together is this is how you'll get your tool. There'd be nothing in here. You should have, the very first thing you'll put in is an HMX booster pill. That's what this is. And this is good for 50 runs. So every 50 runs we'll have to change the booster out. So the first thing we'll do, take that booster, you'll take your HMX pill, doesn't matter which way it goes in, red facing up, red facing down. You'll slide it in. Okay, if you are using A140 combination with the hunting control fire system, you will be using 2 springs. So what you're going to need first on top of the booster is your A140 and then 2 springs. Okay, so you have your 2 springs and the small retaining nut. Okay, this is the A140 setup, and you'll slide that in. And that's how it should look. You got your pass-through wire coming from over here, and you got your wires coming out of your A140 up here. Now we're going to connect everything to the other side. This is a tool, something like this is what you'll need. 3/8 with a slot to make sure your wires don't get pinched. You can even use needle nose pliers if you have to. Hooking this up is fairly standard. You will have extension clips for when you're running out of room, so you can put your new extensions on if you run out of room. And then you're going to want to wire this up just like normal. So on your control fire switch, your white wire, if you look at this tool coming from the top, your white wire is your comm wire, so you're going to go white to white, and then you're going to have your blue wire coming out of the bottom is going to go to your blue wire on your control fire switch. So we'll hook this up. You're going to have your ground wire coming out of the bottom to your ground, so we'll get this done. Got all of our wires hooked up here. Should look just like your guns. You have your ground wires, and you got your A140 wires, then you got your blue wires going through and your white feed through comm wires coming from the top. So now we're going to put the insulator over to protect everything and keep it from getting pinched. Alright, we got our insulator over. Now we're going to pick it up and screw it together.
There's a key.
There is a key that goes into a specific groove. Remember, the tool doesn't spin, but only this locking mechanism. Now the tool's together. All we did to tighten it up is use the spanner wrench on this part. We did not tighten through with our wrenches. These sections of the tools are keyed, so they do not need to be tightened through. Now just hook up your verifier box, make sure it's good to go, and hook it up online. Changing O-rings. You'll have, the only O-rings you have to change is the 222s for the top that goes into your CCL. And then on bottom you have peak backup O-rings and 224s. Now the thing is with your O-rings, this is the bottom of the tool where your quick change would go in. Just remember, you want your peak backup O-rings on top and the 224s underneath. Something to keep in mind on the peak backup O-rings, I don't know if you can see, but there's a little bit of a concave. So you can put your O-ring on the wrong side of this. If this O-ring has to be in that concaved part. If it's on the other side, then it's not right. Even if you flip it over, this wouldn't be right. You want to make sure your O-ring is on the concave seat and your peak O-ring on top. Change your O-rings every 25 runs. In here, obviously these O-rings can be changed more often. So every time you break the tool apart, every 25 runs to do your adjustable switch in A140, and then every 50 runs to do your HMX pill. If you're running Dyna, you're going to have the Dyna detonator, one spring, and then you're going to have the long nut. So then that goes together, and then you have your HMX booster still in the bottom there. Make sure that's in on the very bottom. Put that in. Okay, last thing we need to do is make sure every 3 to 4 runs we are putting grease in the tools to keep the well fluid and sand out of the tool. That's all you do. Stick your grease gun in, put a couple of squirts through it, and you have ports here that you can see. Just make sure that you're getting clean grease coming out and you got all the well fluid out of it.